initiative that promotes local relief efforts through Islamic music, arts, and youth engagement. Over the last 15 years, he has toured and performed across Canada, USA, UK, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, in solo performances and on tours with other internationally renowned artists such as Dawah Warnsby, Zain Bikta, Meyer Zain, Nader Khan, Hamza Robertson, and many others. And he's a good friend, and it's a blessing to have him here, so everybody, Nader Khan.
Assalamu alaikum. Come on, you've had breakfast. Assalamu alaikum. This is a little easy for me because Peter said, I shared a few words yesterday at my dear sister Zahra's exhibition, and Peter said, just repeat the same speech. So I made a few modifications, if that's okay. Let's talk a little bit about beauty, because this is really what creativity is about. We're trying to express, or some sort of beauty, some idea of beauty. We see beauty in the colors of fall, in the laughter of babies, in the weird giggle that is inspired by a silly joke cracked by a loved one. The banter of old friends when they meet after a long time, in flowers and their fragrance, and in the way that a butterfly, a bee, and a hummingbird suck nectar out of the same flower with different results. In the way you are moved by Amir and Nazim's jokes, by the profound simplicity of Peter's work, and the beautiful, intricate detail of Zahra's work. Beauty is in a picture or a song or a painting or a building that pulls you out of the flow of time, where you're sort of just pulled into this creation. You stand there marveling at it, saying, Subhanallah. Beauty is hearing about the men and women of God of bygone days, and even meeting some of them today, as some of you may have experienced by meeting Habib Omar. And meeting them and seeing in them a glimpse of prophetic character, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and falling in love with the Prophet as you know more about him. Because you can't know what you don't, you can't love who you don't know, right? Your beloved is your beloved because you know your beloved, and you can't lay claim to loving God or loving the Prophet without knowing anything about them. But the beautiful thing is, the more you know about them, the more you love them. Beauty ultimately is the most obvious proof for the existence of God, because when you behold it, it takes your breath away and you're moved into saying, wow, subhanallah. Because at some level, it reminds you of the most beautiful experience all of us have ever had, when Allah pulled us all out of Sayyidina Adam and said, Alastu bi Rabbikum. How we answer that is irrelevant. But it was that question in a voice and an experience that was at once supremely beautiful and supremely majestic. The superlative of Jalal and Jamal that we experience. And so in this world, we seek beauty and we're drawn to beauty without knowing why. Well, it's because we seek returning to our beloved, our divine beloved, our celestial beloved. So when we see a manifestation of his beauty, we say, Subhanallah. Imam Ghazali defines beauty as, he says, an object is considered to be beautiful when it contains all its components or elements in proportion to each other. Right? Now, he doesn't define beauty as relative. He doesn't say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because that turns everything into a very conceited way. This is beautiful because I say it is beautiful, which is not the case. Beauty is absolute because Allah is absolutely beautiful. The question is whether our eye is able to recognize that beauty. Right? Beauty exists in everything. right? But the question is whether your eye can recognize it, because we are, after all, a reflection of what we see around us. What you see around you is really who you are. When you're able to see something that is outwardly the most ugly thing and find some beauty hidden in there. Sheikh Nader Khan, one of the great Gnostics of recent times, who passed away in Syria, when elections were happening in Syria, everybody knew who would win. So you're driving down the road and like somebody in the car would say, oh look, Syrian elections, here we go again. Sheikh Nader Khan would look at it and say, oh look, it's Eid for the calligraphers. Because this is the quality you find in men of God, is that their ability to see something beautiful even in the most mundane. Because really they're seeing God in everything. My iPhone just went to sleep. Okay, here we go. And as Sister Noor had commented yesterday, where's Sister Noor? There she is. As Sister Noor had commented yesterday at the Zahra's exhibition, beauty is much more tangible in a live experience than in a recorded digital reproduction, whether it is a photograph or a painting or even of a song. There is a big difference between listening to a CD and seeing somebody perform live, or looking at a painting or looking at a digital reproduction of a painting. Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, how many of us have seen a Persian flute? It's called a ney. Huh? What is it made out of? Can anybody tell me? No, Imam Afroz, no, you can't answer because that'll be cheating, you know too much. What is it made out of? A reed? That's exactly what it's made out of. It's a reed. But the nature of the reed is that it has knots in the middle. So Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi says, he compares the reed to the human being. And he says, break those knots of the ego, so that when the breath of God flows through you, it creates music. Because ultimately, and this is something that Imam Abdul Latif had clarified for us last year, 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago at the CSP in Sydney, he said that ultimately creativity, creating beauty, is not really about the artist. Sure, outwardly it is the artist. But ultimately creativity is Allah choosing the artist as a means to manifest His beauty. Right? So it's really difficult for an artist who knows a few things to get conceited or proud, because you're not really doing anything. It is Allah who's doing everything, and you're just sort of saying thank you very much. But what I hope you get out of today is please do make new friends, meet people who you've never spoken to before, and see in everyone's work, see the divine handiwork in everyone's work. Inshallah. Jazakumullah. Thank you very much.